The Young and the Restless spoilers Wednesday full episodes October 22nd, 2025. Welcome back to our YNR Deep Dive. This week's storyline is a whirlwind of temptation, trauma, and returning ghosts that threaten to turn Genoa City upside down. Mariah Copeland, Daniel Romalotti, Nick Newman, and even Tessa Porter will find themselves standing at crossroads where the past refuses to stay buried and every choice could unravel the fragile piece they've built. At the heart of the chaos is Daniel, whose loyalty and emotions are about to be tested in ways he never expected. After weeks of tension and late nights working with Tessa on a creative project meant to relaunch her music career, their friendship takes a dangerous turn. A moment of vulnerability turns into something that feels like fate when Tessa, overwhelmed and drunk, leans in and kisses him. It isn't a light or meaningless kiss. It's full of everything they've been suppressing since their friendship began to blur the lines between affection and something far more dangerous. Daniel kisses her back before realizing the weight of what he's doing. When Tessa stumbles, he catches her, lifts her gently, and carries her upstairs to her room. She whispers for him to stay, her hand lingering against his chest, and for a moment the world seems to pause. What happens next will define both of them. The moral line is clear, but emotions rarely obey logic in Genoa City. Daniel's heart pounds between doing the right thing, leaving her to sleep it off, or giving in to the passion that's been quietly building for months. His struggle isn't only about fidelity or friendship, it's about who he wants to become. This is the same Daniel who once fell apart under pressure, who ran from the mess he made with Heather and his daughter, and who swore he'd never lose himself to impulse again. But temptation never disappears, it just waits for the right moment to strike. While Daniel's conscience trembles on the edge, Mariah's world spirals into something darker and far more psychological. The woman who once found strength in motherhood and love now faces her own haunting when an impossible figure from her past seems to reappear. During her visit to a Boston clinic for outreach work, she catches a glimpse of someone standing in the hallway, someone she hasn't seen in years and shouldn't be able to see now. It's Ian Ward, the cult leader who once manipulated her mind and tried to destroy her life. The rational part of her knows it can't be him, he's supposed to be dead. Everyone saw the reports. But logic offers little comfort when fear seeps in through memory. Every shadow feels alive, every voice echoes too close. The clinic staff assures her that she's just exhausted, that trauma can make the mind see what it fears most. But Mariah can't shake the certainty that Ian is there, watching her, waiting. She starts finding small signs, a rose left in her room, a page torn from an old diary, a whisper of her name in an empty hallway. Are these hallucinations born from stress, or has Ian returned from the grave to reclaim control over her mind? The boundary between paranoia and reality begins to blur, and soon even Tessa notices the changes in Mariah's behavior, the late-night calls, the trembling hands, the locked doors. At the same time, Nick Newman is on his own mission, one that leads him straight into the heart of another secret. He's been tracking down Sienna Bacall, the elusive woman who recently reached out to Noah. Her call was brief, cryptic, and left more questions than answers, but Nick's instincts tell him that Sienna is connected to something larger, something involving both his son's recovery and Audra's mysterious return. Determined to find her, Nick follows a lead to Los Angeles, but a new clue appears when his niece, Claire Grace Newman, is spotted visiting a hospital in the city. When Nick shows up unexpectedly, Claire looks startled, as if she knows more than she's saying. The conversation turns awkward when Nick mentions Sienna's name. Claire's hesitation says everything. She knows exactly where Sienna is, and she's torn between loyalty to family and loyalty to a friend. Nick presses further, and eventually, his persistence pays off. He learns that Sienna has been hiding close by, working quietly at a private clinic under a new name. What she's hiding from remains unclear, but Nick's determination to uncover the truth brings him closer to a woman whose past could change everything for both Noah and the Newman family. As the week unfolds, these three storylines begin to twist together in subtle, devastating ways. Daniel's decision about Tessa doesn't happen in isolation. His hesitation to confess, and Tessa's silence afterward ripple outward, straining the fragile trust that holds the group together. When Mariah calls Tessa from Boston, voice trembling with fear about seeing Ian Ward, she senses that something in Tessa's tone has changed. There's guilt there, buried beneath words of reassurance. Mariah's paranoia deepens as she begins to feel that the universe is punishing her, that her past sins, her doubts, and her jealousy are all coming back to destroy her peace. Meanwhile, Nick's investigation into Sienna uncovers a file connecting her to a confidential case involving Ian Ward's former network, a chilling coincidence that suggests the cult Mariah escaped may not have died with Ian's supposed death. By the end of the week, every character finds themselves standing on unstable ground. Daniel's conscience becomes a ticking bomb, torn between the truth and the lie that might save Tessa's career. Tessa wakes up with no memory of what truly happened, only flashes of emotion and guilt that she can't place. Mariah, haunted and sleepless, starts questioning her own sanity, while Nick inches closer to uncovering Sienna's connection to both Noah and the man who may still be alive. The threads of their stories, seemingly separate, begin to intertwine through one central theme: the past never dies in Genoa City, it hides, waits, and resurfaces when the heart is weakest. As the next week looms, the questions multiply. Did Daniel cross the line, or did restraint save him from repeating history? Is Mariah losing her grip on reality, or is Ian Ward truly back from the dead? And what truth is Sienna hiding that could tie all of these fates together? In The Young and the Restless, secrets never stay buried, and when they rise, they drag everyone back into the storm. Welcome back to our Young and the Restless deep dive, where every alliance hides an agenda and every act of redemption comes at a price. This week's developments promise emotional tension, old wounds reopening, and dangerous new beginnings across Genoa City and Los Angeles. The spotlight shifts between Kane Ashby's unexpected deal with Phyllis Summers, Sharon Newman's deep concern for Noah's unraveling state of mind, Sally Spectra's surprising loyalty toward Audra Charles, and Kyle Abbott's obsession with Holden Novak that threatens to drag him deeper into a web of deceit. Kane Ashby's return to the business scene marks one of the most unexpected turns of the season. After years of scandal, guilt, and self-reinvention, Kane has finally found his footing again, or at least that's what he wants everyone to believe. His sudden partnership with Phyllis Summers, however, raises more questions than answers. The two share a history of sharp intellect, mutual manipulation, and a dangerous chemistry that has both saved and destroyed them before. Sources close to the situation suggest that Kane's agreement with Phyllis is less about business and more about strategic survival. Phyllis, whose company has been quietly struggling against mounting tech competition, needs a way to outmaneuver her rivals, while Kane sees in her the leverage he's been craving, a way back into the power circles of Genoa City. But the nature of their deal remains shrouded in secrecy. Is it a partnership built on mutual ambition or a trap disguised as trust? Either way, it's clear that when these two play the same game, the fallout will be spectacular. Meanwhile, Sharon Newman's maternal instincts flare as she grows increasingly alarmed by Noah's fragile mental and emotional state. Ever since the accident, Noah's memory has been an unstable collage of what was, what he wishes had been, and what never truly happened. His selective amnesia has erased the pain of betrayal, leaving behind only fragments of love and longing for Audra, the very woman who once shattered his heart. Sharon's fear isn't just about his health, it's about what will happen when the illusion breaks. She knows that when Noah's full memory returns, the emotional devastation could send him spiraling back into darkness. Nick shares her concern, though his focus remains on tracking down Sienna Bacall and understanding why her name keeps resurfacing in connection to his son. The Newman parents, united in worry, find themselves reliving the helplessness of watching a child fight an invisible war, only this time, it's not the body that's broken, but the mind. Across town, Sally Spectra finds herself unexpectedly pulled into Audra Charles's orbit. Once rivals by nature, the two women now stand on similar ground, both outcasts trying to carve out legitimacy in a world that rarely forgives. When Audra's return to Genoa City stirs up old gossip and lingering resentment, Sally steps forward in a move that surprises even her closest allies. She defends Audra publicly, insisting that everyone deserves a second chance, and begins helping her re-establish connections in the business world. Yet Sally's motives aren't entirely pure. While compassion plays a part, she also sees Audra as a mirror, a reflection of her own struggle for redemption. By aligning herself with Audra, Sally is betting that shared survival might mean mutual strength. But alliances in Genoa City are rarely about loyalty alone. As their friendship deepens, it's clear that Sally may also be using Audra to regain favor with powerful figures like Nick and Victoria, proving that even good deeds in this town come laced with strategy. In Los Angeles, the emotional storm intensifies as Kyle Abbott continues his reckless crusade to win back Claire Grace Newman. Despite her plea for him to return home to Genoa City and focus on his son, Kyle refuses to listen. His pride, jealousy, and heartbreak have fused into something toxic. To Kyle, walking away would mean defeat, and defeat has never been in the Abbott vocabulary. He lingers around Los Angeles, a restless shadow haunting the edges of Claire's new life. But his persistence crosses into obsession when he spots Holden Novak walking side by side with Sienna Bacall. The sight of them together ignites something dangerous in him, suspicion mixed with curiosity and a bruised ego that refuses to heal. Kyle begins to dig into Holden's past, pulling strings, calling in favors, and prying into records that were meant to stay sealed. At first, it seems harmless, a man trying to protect his pride. But the deeper he digs, the more unsettling the trail becomes. Rumors suggest that Holden's history may be intertwined with secrets that reach beyond personal drama, possibly touching on the same underground dealings that once endangered Noah. Whispers of false identities, financial manipulation, and hidden lineage begin to surface. Some even hint that Holden might not be who he claims to be at all, and that his relationship with Sienna is less about romance and more about leverage. Claire, growing weary of Kyle's intrusion, pleads with him again to let go and return home. She sees the self-destructive pattern that has defined so many of Kyle's past relationships, the inability to move forward, the need to control what he cannot accept. But Kyle is caught in a spiral of stubborn defiance. Every warning from Claire only pushes him deeper into danger, and every truth he uncovers leads to more questions. Is Holden a threat, or is Kyle manufacturing enemies out of his own pain? Genoa City has seen men destroyed by obsession before, and Kyle may soon join their ranks if he doesn't step away before it's too late. As the week draws to a close, the lines between loyalty and betrayal blur across every storyline. Kane and Phyllis's alliance stands poised to shift the balance of power in unpredictable ways. Sharon's growing fear for her son's sanity threatens to pull her family back into crisis. Sally's friendship with Audra may become either her greatest act of redemption or her next public scandal. And Kyle, desperate, restless, and blind to reason, edges closer to a truth about Holden that could destroy more than just reputations. The question now is not whether secrets will be revealed, but who will survive their consequences. In The Young and the Restless, love rarely saves anyone, but it always exposes what they're willing to lose. Welcome back to our Young and the Restless spotlight. This week, the glow of celebration turns into a battlefield as old rivalries and deep grudges explode beneath the glittering lights of Cricket's bachelorette party. What was meant to be an evening of laughter, champagne, and friendship instead becomes a psychological war when Phyllis Summers crashes the event, bringing with her the kind of chaos only she can orchestrate. The night begins innocently enough. Friends gather, toasts are made, and for a brief moment, it seems like happiness might actually hold. But the illusion shatters the moment Phyllis walks in. Her entrance is pure electricity, unapologetically confident, dressed to command attention, and armed with the sharpest weapon in Genoa City, her words. The laughter fades, conversations stall, and eyes turn toward her with a mix of dread and fascination. No one knows why she's there, but everyone can feel it. This isn't a social visit. Phyllis doesn't crash parties for nostalgia, she crashes them for impact. The tension tightens with every glance, every glass lifted in awkward pretense. Cricket, radiant but visibly unsettled, tries to hold her composure, but Phyllis knows exactly how to hit nerves that never healed. The two women have danced this dance for decades, rivals in love, business, and power, and tonight feels like another round in a war neither truly won. Phyllis masks her intent behind smiles and compliments that cut deeper than insults. Each toast she offers drips with venom disguised as wit, and each pause in the room amplifies the sense that something far bigger is brewing beneath the surface. What no one realizes is that Phyllis didn't come to stir trouble for amusement, she came to make a statement. Her presence is strategic, almost surgical. Behind the glitz and tension lies a plan meticulously crafted. She wants everyone, from Christine to Danny, from Lauren to Sharon, to remember that she's still a force, still relevant, still dangerous when underestimated. For Phyllis, fading into the background is a fate worse than failure. Her life thrives on power, and power thrives on perception. As the night unravels, words escalate into icy confrontations. Old wounds reopen, whispers turn into accusations. Phyllis plays the room like a chessboard, provoking just enough chaos to remind her audience of her brilliance and her unpredictability. Yet under the surface of confidence lies exhaustion, a quiet desperation disguised as control. Every move she makes tonight is as much about revenge as it is about survival. When the dust finally settles and the last of the guests leave, the room is left in uneasy silence. Champagne glasses stand half empty, and the scent of roses mixes with tension that still lingers in the air. Cricket's night, once meant for joy, now feels tainted, another chapter in the endless feud that defines them. But for Phyllis, this is only the beginning. As she walks away, heels clicking on marble, her mind races with what comes next. The gamble she's about to make is risky, even by her standards. It could reshape her life, professionally, personally, or both, but Phyllis has never been one to play safe. This move will demand everything from her: intellect, charm, ruthlessness, and a willingness to burn bridges if it means staying ahead. She knows she's playing with fire, but that's what she does best. To her, destruction isn't failure, it's transformation. Phyllis Summers stands as one of Genoa City's most complex women, brilliant and self-destructive in equal measure. Her latest stunt is a reminder that no matter how many times she falls, she rises again, sharper and bolder than before. This isn't about attention or redemption anymore. It's about legacy. And as the lights go out on the party she ruined, Phyllis smiles to herself, already thinking 3 moves ahead. Because in her world, chaos isn't the end, it's the beginning of something powerful.